Hello folks, my name is Liabona Saiki from the Master Lab Systems. Okay, so today I'll be looking at securing your API, meaning your FastAPI project with JWT Authentication. So, moving on, what we have, it's the introduction of the authentication and JWT. Basically, in simple terms, what is JWT? So, it's basically a JSON Web Token. So it's what we use normally to authenticate and to authorize our APIs. So basically, why authentication matters? Authentication ensures only authorized users can access protected resources. Also, it prevents unauthorized data access and API abuse. It helps in user session management for secure interactions. Moving on. Now let's look at the introduction and authentication again of the JWT. So this time, what is JWT? It's JSON, as I explained already. It's JSON Web Token, a compact, self-contained way to securely transmit information. So JWT consists of three layers, or mainly three parts: a header, a payload, and a signature. Also, this is used for authentication and authorization in APIs. So how it works, how JWT works in FastAPI project. So in a normal scenario, a user would log in with their normal credentials, their username and passwords. So a server will validate those requests, and respond back with, if they are valid, it will respond back with a JWT token. So that JWT token will then be used, or it's what the client will use to authenticate each time they are sending a request or getting a resource from their server. So each time a client sends the request, the server validates that and returns back a response based on that. Okay? For example, let's look at this diagram. A client logs into the server, so using username and password, and the server validates those past credentials. So if they are valid, the server returns back, which is, as you can see this slide, the server returns back the generated token, and the client, it's what they store normally on cookies or in a local storage. That's what they will be using to request some resources from the server again. So each time a request is sent, the server validates the token to see if the token is valid. If the token is still valid, the server returns a resource. Okay. Setting up a FastAPI for JWT authentication. Okay, so first of all, on my previous tutorial, I explained how we can initiate a FastAPI project using Poetry. So today we'll be using that one again to do our authentication. Okay, so step one is to add the dependencies, which is the JWT dependencies that we'll need. So if you use this command with add FastAPI, all, then you pass the pyJWT, passive, passlib, bcrypt, and python multipart. And again, let's not forget the cryptography one to generate those tokens, which is the Python JSON. So also we can also add that one too. Okay, folks, moving on, I will take you to the code so we can do this in action. Okay, so in my previous tutorial, we created a simple API with one GET request. So today we'll be using that project again as to add the new dependencies and to add the new, of course, the new authentication method. Okay, so what we need, the first step, as I said, is to what? Once we have the project already, okay, just do it clear. Once we have the project already initiated, so normally it will come in a format of like this if you are using Poetry to create it. So, and then what we have here, this is where now our dependencies is to lie. So as you can see, normally if you pass this command, which is add, the ones in my presentation. So if you pass these commands, which is add that, they will automatically added on your project. So again, as I've already done this process, so I'm just gonna skip this part for now. But once you add that, once you run that command in your project, you should be seeing them here, which is in your dependency file. So as you can see, those are all my dependencies we need. So moving on, let's create one file, which is the config and the main file. So let's first do the config.py. So what we need here basically, it's three things. We need the algorithm that will be using to generate these encrypted tokens, and we need our, well, you could say just an API key, more like that. And lastly, we'll need one last thing, which is the expiration date of our tokens. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy that, as already I have made these snippets. So I'm just gonna copy those in. So on the config, as I said, this is the only things we need. Secret key. Normally you can provide anything there, as long as it's only gonna be you who knows that secret key basically, because it's also gonna form a part of the combination in forming your token to authenticate. Okay, so we have that in. So now let's create a second one, which is a main file. I was gonna use it, so a main, let's create a main this time. Okay, so in a main, we need basically three functions, not even three, basically two, which is the one to generate the token and the one to allow us to log in. Okay, so again, I have some snippets already set in my notepad. So if we copy that, I'm also going to explain it in a minute of what the code does. Okay, so in our main file, let's edit those. Okay, so in a FastAPI project, so of course you have your basic imports, and then so this is the imports we will need for our authentication from FastAPI security. So we require the OAuth password there, and the form, which is the OAuth 2 password request form, which allows us to get those values, meaning the credentials, the username and password, so we can be able to authenticate. Okay, and so got those, which is the basic. And then from our config, the one that we created here, so we require the secret key, algorithm, and the expiration time for our token. Okay, moving on. So the first step that we see here, which is on line 10, which is this OAuth 2 scheme, is equals to OAuth 2 password pair. So what this means is basically this, like when the request comes, or when we are authenticating or logging in from the front end or whatever way we are using, either using Cal or using the Swagger API, which we'll be using in this case. So what this means is that we initialize a variable that will hold the token which is generated from this function. From this function, that will hold the token generated from this function, and so we can be able to use it in our basically in our other APIs. Okay, so moving on. So what we have now, which is the function to create the access token. So what it does, it gets the data, it copies that, creates, initializes the expiration time. So it does that, and then it converts the time, takes the time, and then it updates the encoded data, and then it returns the encoded data with the data already, which is copied, the decoded data, and the secret key, and the algorithm. So meaning the combination of that, and then it just returns that. So same thing here, this side will decrypt the data using what again? Those three components, using the data, the time, the secret key, and the algorithm itself. Okay. So once we have those folks, let's go in and start up our project so we can be able to test. Again, once we do this, I'll add another one. meaning one last API, or maybe we can add it so that when we initiate or when we start up this project, we had already have that one in. So basically this one, it's to use, it's just another dummy API, but however this one you can only access it if you are authenticated, of which what tool will be doing in this case, authenticate, get the token back, and run a normal GET request on a authenticated session or on a authorized session. Okay, so we have that. So basically what this does now, it's basically, it can be anything though, hence I just post it as protected. So a request comes in and then it checks that schema, meaning as you can see here, it depends on the token, a token that was generated and kept in this auth2 schema, which is this variable. So it depending there. So if that thing is valid, then it will be able, as you can see now. So payload, it's now to decode, it gets what? The token which is generated already, C3Q and the algorithm. And then if all of that is valid, it returns this message. However, if it's not, this is the error code that we should be seeing. Okay. So folks, I'm just going to start it up again. I'm just going to start it up now. So we do all just to ensure we're in the right directory. Okay, to cd dot, okay, again. Okay, so okay, we need to be inside that so we can be able to invoke this main file since we are using it to run the project. So if we do another cd FastAPI Authentication and then do all. Okay, so from here we can be able to start up. So run. Okay, so poetry run UV main, meaning the main file, and then the app just reload. That's fine. If we start up that, okay, as you can see, folks, it is started automatically. Fine. So now let's go ahead, copy out my web server. So if we pass that in, so let's use Swagger. So as I said, automatically in FastAPI, it comes embedded with Swagger schema, so you can be able to test your APIs or your endpoints. Okay, so as you can see, folks, so what we see here, this is basically the Swagger documentation. So as you can see, if you look at that authorize button, it's unloaded this stage, meaning we are not authorized in yet, so we need to authorize so we can be able to access this one. As you can see, this one, it has a key, meaning it requires you to authenticate so you can be able to use it. So what we need now, so again, go back to our code. So how this login form works is that it gets the data back, which is the username if it's not admin, or the password if it's not password, then you should be getting that. So I will do two scenarios using the right password and the wrong password, for example. So if we try now using an invalid password, for example, so let's go ahead and attempt to authenticate. So try it out. Username, it's admin. And then we pass the password. So I'm just going to pass a test as the password. However, we know this is invalid password. So what we should be getting back is the invalid credentials. Okay, so now let's execute. Okay, as you can see, folks, it says unauthorized, meaning the password and username we provided are not matching. So now let's go ahead and use the right credentials. So I'm gonna reset, cancel, try it out again. Okay, so now we know the correct credentials is admin, is the username, and password is the password. Okay, so if we move on, so now let's go ahead and test it up again. So username is admin and the password is password, and then let's execute. Okay folks, as you can see, this time we are returning the correct access token. As you can see, now that we managed to authenticate using the correct credentials, we are able to return back the valid access token. And also, this token is only gonna last for 30 minutes. After that 30 minutes, it becomes invalid again, meaning we have to re-authenticate again. Okay, so now we can be able now to go in to authenticate in that green button up again. So we got the key, which is the access token, so we can use it to authenticate. So let's go to our form again. If we close that, let's go authorize, so we can be able to use this endpoint. So if we go there again to authorize, okay, so this form, it only requires a username and a password. However, for someone else, you can be able to use that token if you are using, for example, care or another HTTP method or another HTTP client. So this time, since I already have my correct credentials, so I'm just gonna go ahead using admin and password, because this is already linked with that key that we have generated. So if we authenticate or authorize, as you can see, and now we are authorized successfully. So we are logged in. If we close this now, you should see now it's logged in now. Padlock, it's logged now, and also that one is available. So now we can be able to go ahead and test with it, because we are already authenticated successfully. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test the second one. So again, going back to our code, so now we are about to run this last endpoint. So what it means is that, again, it depends on how that OAuth 2 schema, meaning if you had already authenticated above, then you should be fine to use this endpoint. However, if you are not authenticated, this is what you should be getting again, which is the invalid token. Also, if the authentication was successfully fine, this is the message you should be returning. Okay, so let's go ahead folks and retest again. As we already know, we have already managed to successfully authenticate, so now everything should be good in this case. Okay, so let's try it out. This is just a get endpoint. So if we do and execute, sweet. Okay, look at it folks, as you can see, we are getting a response body, which is that message we're expecting, and user, admin, and the expression, which is now the minutes left, basically in seconds, of course, milliseconds left. So, and the status code is 200. So meaning this stage we are able to successfully authenticate and use our token to other APIs or to other endpoints. Okay folks, I think this is all for today. I will be ending here. Please also, if you have any questions, please post them in my comments in the comment section below, or drop them in my DM. I will be answering those. Also, please, very important folks, please, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and share to your friends and family. Until next time folks, peace out. Thanks.